प्रतिभा वी आर लाइव ऑन यूट्यूब।
यस, यहाँ पे आ गया मीटिंग।
आगे। हम्म। Good evening, everyone. I'm Saksham, the organizer head of this virtual session 5.0. I welcome all the honorable dignitaries as well as the lawyers joining us from different honorable high courts. I request all the attendees to kindly turn off their camera as their mic. It's a generous request. Good evening, everyone. Our worthy principal of the college, Dr. Monica Sharma, ma'am, has just joined. Monica, ma'am, welcome. Welcome to this virtual platform.
Thank you, Saksham.
Yes, ma'am. And one dignitary of the day, Rita Kohli, ma'am, senior advocate from the Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court, has also joined. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to this virtual platform.
I think he is mute.
I'll just
अरे यार, फिर कल उस दिन तो बड़ा परेशानी हो गई थी, सारे खत्म हो गया, घंटे में भी हो गया था मैंने चलते हैं हो जाता। हेलो हेलो 10C। हाँ जी हाँ जी हाँ जी, ठीक है ठीक है।
good evening to all the one present here. Our worthy dignitary of the day, Rita Kohli, ma'am, senior advocate from Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court, has joined. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to the virtual platform. Our next dignitary of the day, Kiran Bhardwaj, ma'am, advocate from the Honorable Supreme Court of India, has also joined. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to the virtual platform.
Thank you so much, Saksham.
Hello,
Our worthy
good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening. Namaskar.
How are you? How are you, ma'am?
Thank you. All well. All well. Thank you.
Okay.
Kiran, ma'am, she is our worthy principal, Dr. Monica Sharma, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Good to hear from her.
Same here, ma'am.
So you are how many years you are there as a principal over there?
About 8 years.
Oh, great. So this is women empowerment. Actually, good. Doing a lot. So all participants are here now. They have joined.
No, ma'am, they'll be joining us from YouTube, ma'am. The YouTube link is given to the participants, ma'am. Only the special.
You also send some one YouTube link so that my other friends
Yes,
can see this.
yes, ma'am. I'll
Please do it.
in a day.
So this will be connected with YouTube.
Yes, ma'am. It is connected on YouTube. It is live on YouTube. It's going on. यहाँ का सीधा प्रसारण YouTube पे भी हो रहा है. Kiran, ma'am, it's sent to you.
Okay, I'm just checking it. Just YouTube connection.
Yes, ये वन का डाल दो. Good evening, everyone. Our guest of honor, Dr. Amy Yajnik, ma'am, member from the Rajya Sabha, is also there with us.
Good evening, ma'am.
Ma'am can do it. Her audio is getting connected, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to honorable dignitaries. Today we have among us the guest of honor of the day, Dr. Amy Yajnik, ma'am, here on the virtual platform. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to this virtual platform. We're grateful to have you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Amy Yajnik, Dr. Amy Yajnik, ma'am, is the member from our Rajya Sabha, and we are very grateful to have her here.
Thank you so much for having me on this important webinar.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening. Nice. You have been such a pillar of strength and support to all the students.
Thank
Wish
Good
you
evening,
all the
ma'am.
best. Yes.
Namaskar, ma'am. I'm Kiran Bhardwaj over here, advocate from Supreme Court.
Hi, Kiran. I have heard your name, but I think we haven't met before.
Ma'am, you call me, I will always come, ma'am.
We'll meet one of these days as soon as I come to Delhi.
Definitely, ma'am. Ma'am, where are you right now, ma'am?
Right now, I'm in Ahmedabad. I could
Okay.
reach as soon as the session was over, so in time before the flights got cancelled.
Ma'am, it will be a pleasure meeting you, ma'am.
Yes, I would love to meet you. So as soon as I come to Delhi, I'll just take your number from Saksham so that we can meet.
Definitely, ma'am. Thank you so much.
I'll provide you. Good evening, everyone. The Justice Raja Rahul Garg, dignitary of the day, has also joined. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to this virtual platform. Grateful to have you here. Ma'am, you have to unmute yourself down there in the office. I'll just do for you, ma'am. I'll just do it for you, ladies.
Yes, I have done it.
Yes, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Good
Welcome
evening,
to.
ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Kiran Bhardwaj from Delhi, ma'am. Supreme Court, advocate on record.
Good evening. Nice to see you.
Good evening, ma'am. This is Ami Yagnik. Nice to meet you, ma'am.
Me too.
Our guest of honor, Amy Arnik, ma'am, member from
Yeah.
the Rajya Sabha, has joined, ma'am. And
Yeah.
our worthy principal, Dr. Monica Sharma, ma'am, has also joined.
Yeah.
Since the COVID-19, the deadly disease has brought us to a edge that we are very blessed to have this learned dignitaries and have a session on from them. Good evening to everyone. Just we are 4 minutes away from the starting of the webinar.
No problem.
Good evening, everyone. Since due to the technical glitch at Rita's Kuli ma'am place that she could not connect to the video, so do have the permission of the esteemed panel and the guest of honor and the worthy principal of Rayat College of Law to start the webinar.
Please,
Uh,
please.
the guest of honor, ma'am, to kindly start the webinar.
Good evening. It's a real opportunity to be with all of you, and the topic is scope for women in legal education. I think uh, there's a lot of scope, I can say, as far as women are concerned. Most societies in the world have 50% of women as human resources, and it's not different for India too. But when we talk about legal education, we may just look back or look around. In all spheres, you find women. Everywhere you find women, they are toiling, they are working hard, they are excelling, they are making a mark, they are standing out. And by that, in that way, they are contributing a lot to society. So ultimately, society's developmental goals also depend on women. But when we talk about legal education, we have to go back to 1960s, post-independence, we had the Advocates Act. We now have 5-year courses as far as law schools are concerned. We find a rising number of women, girl students in law schools. And all of those girls who come out of law colleges, who come out as graduates or postgraduates, take the bar exam, they come to become good lawyers. They want to practice or make a contribution in the legal field, or they want to make a living in the legal field. I personally feel with my journey, when I started, it was 30 years, 30 plus odd years back, and there were hardly two women lawyers in the profession. And everyone except my mother discouraged me and said that you cannot become a lawyer, and you especially cannot become a criminal practicing lawyer. So that was one discouragement. But my mother said, she gave me a mantra. She said, you work hard, you read like the other lawyers are reading, the male lawyers. See that some client trusts you and comes with a case. And if the client wins, maybe some other person might come, but at least give it a try. Don't listen to others. That's how I jumped into the legal profession, because I wanted to be a lawyer. But one thing I have learned, that scope for women in legal education has only one mantra. You have to read and work hard. Because if you go to the courts, you are an officer of the court and you are supposed to help the client win the case, but you have a very big onus on yourself that you are assisting the court to arrive at a conclusion, which is dispensing justice. And the ultimate goal of the justice system, legal system, is to dispense justice. Now, if you are not prepared, you cannot do anything. So when we talk about scope, the scope of legal education for women is really, really very good, but it depends on the women how you take the challenges headlong. And when you take the challenges, you don't have to look around, because society is definitely has a patriarchal mindset. Whenever you talk about reforms, whether it's in the legal system, whether it is in the justice system, whether it is in the administrative system, or maybe overall any system you talk about reforms, finally it narrows down to changing the mindset, because the patriarchal mindset is so entrenched in our society that it is going to take a very long while in order to see that the mindset changes, and it's not going to happen so fast and so willingly, either by individuals or by society put together. So in that case, when you go to get a legal education, you are a student. And so if the entry point is easy, you find so many women and so many girls going to these colleges. Well, once you come out, the challenges start at that point. And then you have the chance to become magistrates, you have chance to become law officers, you can become prosecutors. I'm talking of the present situation. In the past, it was not like that. You did not find so many women in the legal system. You did not find so many women practicing individually. Today, you find that a woman who does not even have any background in the family, there is no lawyer in the family. For example, myself, I had no lawyer in the family, but I decided to become a lawyer. So there are so many women today who want to become lawyer. They have an education. They come out of the institutions prepared as lawyers. They take the bar exam. They do very well. They top But when it comes to practicing, when it comes to making a mark in the legal profession, it takes a while for them because there are barriers and barriers. Overcoming these barriers is very difficult. Earlier, you had to get recognition, you had to have some identity, people would like to trust you, you had to build up your capabilities. But today there are different kinds of situations. You find gender discrimination, you find work life balance issues, whether you can manage your family home front and still go to the court and become a good lawyer, or you can go to a private company and head the legal department, whether you can travel frequently to practice in different courts, whether you can take up the job of a law professor, whether you can teach law and reach and become a director or a dean of an law college or a law university. Well, these are all challenges which women have to face. But I think there is immense scope for women in legal education. It should be as good as another profession. Well, women take to medicine, they excel. The first test tube baby was by a woman doctor. So similarly, women should not be disheartened, shouldn't look at barriers. I think everything can be overcome, but it needs a mantra of hard work, sincerity, honesty, and you have to burn the midnight oil compared to your male counterparts. For example, if a male lawyer just gets up in the courtroom and says that today I do not have my papers and I need an adjournment, kindly give me an adjournment. And sometimes most often the court say, okay, you come after 2 days. But when a woman lawyer says that I don't have papers, the court definitely looks at her, oh, you have come unprepared. So these are some kind of very subtle challenges women face, and women are emotionally softer, so they take too much to the heart. And I also feel one other angle that when we talk in India about social justice, because my main forte was social justice and I worked in the districts. So on gender and women laws, women's legal rights, explaining to them what the constitution gives the women, and women should be best to tell other women that, well, you have so many rights, why don't you exercise them? But this social justice angle, why is it that all the time we expect women lawyers to do all this? There should be male lawyers also who should be a part of these kind of seminars and webinars. They should also know that yes, women are much needed. Women are a 50% counterpart in our field of work. So these are some of the salient features of what a woman lawyer or a women in legal education feels. But today, when we are talking of international scenario, not to talk about the pandemic, which is right now a temporary and a difficult time, but you will find most corporates, most international companies, they want arbitrators, they want legal counsels, they want legal juniors who can help in legal counseling, drawing a lot of long and difficult agreements and some kinds of contracts. So you need your knowledge in the right place. In order to have that knowledge in the right place, you need to build up your capacity as well as capability. Unless and until you are yourself not equipped, you cannot give this kind of a service to people or society. So legal education, I think, should focus also on this. And when women or girls come to law colleges, they should be shown the whole path, when they come, that, well, when you go out in the world, these would be the few steps you will have to overcome. The first steps, then there'll be long term steps, then there'll be barriers, and then you'll be able to do something and make a mark. Forget about excelling or making or reaching the top. It takes a little longer journey. But all this, I think, women have started accepting these challenges headlong. Girls are also becoming independent, and they're making their choices very wisely. And there, of course, we have now 5-year courses. Girls also go for 3-year courses. I don't think so that 3-year courses or 5-year courses is a matter of discussion, because 5-year courses are integrated courses. But personally, I feel that if a women want to excel in certain fields, for example, if you have taken if you have taken a graduation in science, you have a background in science, I think you will be better equipped with forensic kind of a knowledge. And it is definitely knowledge doesn't go waste, so it's going to help you. If you have done your BCom and you have done commerce, accounting, we have IPR laws, we have taxation laws, we have indirect taxes, direct taxes is going to help you. If you have done arts, then well, we have lots of civil procedures, and these are, I mean, cumbersome little bit, longish. But for the graduation and then the 3-year courses are also good for women who, girls who want to maybe take not got admission in 5-year courses or have not taken that path. So personally speaking, I think there's a lot of scope of legal education. Women can do much better. I wouldn't compare women with men or with other professions, but definitely women do give their 100%. They do work hard, and they want to stand out and say that yes, we are working hard. But it's a 24/7 job if you want to make a mark in legal education, or you have a legal education and you want to stand out as a professional, that I have done some kind of a legal I have a legal background and I'm contributing to society. So I personally feel that women should not feel any different if they go for legal education. It's just like medicine or business or chartered accountancy, or maybe like fashion. You have to try very hard in order to prove your worth. For example, if I have a matter which is having higher stakes, I have a battery of lawyers against me. So I am supposed to burn my midnight oil at least past 2 o'clock, 2 p.m., 2 a.m. And so that means that you have to work harder with all the other work which women do, because multitasking is one of the kind of factors that is uh, corresponding with women. These issues, I think, should not deter any girl students or women to back out and just not say, okay, it's a little harder kind of a profession, I cannot take legal education, I may better go for arts or commerce or science. Well, any stream needs hard work, sincerity, round the clock working, and a lot of study. But legal education means you are with books, and it's homework every day. If you want to keep abreast of law, if you want to be in competition with the rest of the crowd, and you want to make a mark for yourself. Women, I think, in the end, I would like to say that women have a lot to give to society. I personally feel that women have this emotional quotient. They can listen to clients well. They can understand the problems of emotions and social concerns very well. They can understand them well, and they can try to solve in an amicable way. So women contribute a lot to social development as well. Cultural differences apart, but the journey is hard. The journey is long, but I think women can do it, and law schools should play a very important part in imparting legal education to women. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. I'll just take the liberty of 2-3 minutes while introducing our speakers, which could not be there due to the technical glitch. The can I do the introduction part, please,
Yes.
to the esteemed panel? The power I exert on the court depends on my argument, but not on my gender, as rightfully quoted. A very warm evening to all the honorable dignitaries, advocate, lawyers, and all the other law students. I, Saksham, organizer head, welcome you all to the day one of the enriching webinar, Rayat College of Law, virtual session 5.0, which is organized on the topic Scope of Women in the Legal Education. Since it is the day one, the honorable dignitaries who took out their valuable time and blessed us with their kind presence are Dr. Emi Ajnik ma'am, Justice Raj Rahul Garg ma'am, Advocate Rita Kohli ma'am, and Advocate Kiran Bhardwaj ma'am. I welcome all the honorable dignitaries to the session. As it is being clearly said in politics, if you want anything said, ask a man. But if you want anything done, always ask a woman. With these agreeable words, I welcome Dr. Emi Yajnik ma'am, member from Rajya Sabha. She is a practicing lawyer since the year 1984. She has been working as assistant government leader, additional public prosecutor, and standing counsel for the central government in the Honorable High Court of Gujarat. Ma'am is the founding member of All India Federation for Women. She is also associated with several women organizations and proactively working in it. Even the National Commission of Women also awarded ma'am as the outstanding woman in the year 2013. Thank you, ma'am. We are very grateful to have you. Moving to our next dignitary, a legal luminary who has been working in every field of law, as a lawyer, as a judicial magistrate, as a judge of the Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court. We have among us Justice Raj Rahul Garg, ma'am, joined the bar in the year 1977 and then cleared the judicial services in the year 1981. Ma'am has also worked as a legal remembrance and then elevated as a ladyship in the Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court in the year 2016. She is currently working as an arbitrator. Thank you, ma'am, for your presence. We are pleased to have you. Moving to our next esteemed panelist. Normally, a lawyer is being perceived to be a bit tough, but I am sure our next panelist, Rita Kohli, ma'am, with a sweet voice, will change this perspective of everyone. Rita Kohli, ma'am, is a senior advocate at Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court. Ma'am is also the coordinator at Mediation and Conciliation Center, Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court. Ma'am has also served as the Additional Advocate General, Punjab. She is also member of the Punjab Universal Sexual Harassment Committee. Thank you, ma'am. We are very grateful to have you. Moving to our next dignitary, Kiran Bhadwaj, ma'am, who is always working on her toes around the clock. She's an advocate on record in the Honorable Supreme Court. Ma'am is also served as a standing counsel for the state of Punjab and as a panel counsel for central government in the Honorable Supreme Court of India. Thank you, ma'am, for your kind presence. I thank all the honorable dignitaries for accepting our invitation, sparing up the time, and blessing us with their presence. I would also extend the heartiest vote of thanks to our worthy principal, ma'am, and vice principal, sir, for always supporting us every time and always giving us this opportunity that we could organize such webinars. I would also thank our official knowledge partners of the event, the Leg Speeds, the Locket, the Kanuni Sara. Now I would request our worthy principal, ma'am, Dr. Monica Sharma, ma'am, to officially welcome all the honorable dignitaries.
Thank you, Saksham.
And I would also request Garima to kindly coordinate between the sessions.
Thank you, Saksham. Good evening, everyone. Hope you all are good and safe. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome Honorable Dr. M.E. Yajnik, Member, Rajya Sabha, and Guest of Honor of the Day. Honorable Justice Raj Rahul, Madam Rita Kohli, Senior Advocate, Punjab and Haryana High Court, Madam Kiran Bhardwaj, Advocate on Record, Honorable Supreme Court of India. On behalf of management, faculty, staff, and students of Rayat College of Law, on the virtual session 5.0 on the topic scope for women, for women in the legal education. We are really grateful to have such eminent personalities amongst us. We are thankful to all the dignitaries that you have spared your precious time and accepted our invitation and present on this event. I am sure your talk will be very fruitful to all of us. I also welcome all the participants from all over India. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you. Over to Saksham.
Thank you so much, ma'am. A very good evening, everyone. I, Garima, on behalf of Rayat College of Law, welcome you all to this webinar. So, beginning with the session, I would like to call our Honorable Justice Raj Rahul Garg, ma'am, to grace us with her presence and articulate knowledge. Please, ma'am.
And you have to unmute yourself.
Please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, ma'am.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Legal profession is an important limb of the machinery for administration of justice. The profession itself and the scope for women in it were not always how they seem to be today. From the rejection of Rajina Guha's application for enrollment as pleader in 1916, where it was concluded that only men could be enrolled as pleader, to an all-woman full bench to hear a crucial case in Madras High Court in March 2020, we have come a long, long way. Then the remarks of my vice principal of the college, from where I had done my graduation, that बेटी, मैं लड़कियों के लिए तो लॉ अच्छा नहीं समझता. Do not stand in the way of women anywhere at present. When I started law, there were only a handful of students in my batch. Today, the number of female enrollments have surpassed those of their male counterparts. Today, acceptability of women in the legal profession has turned around favorably towards them. I can enumerate several avenues which I consider equally available for men and women alike. Till your lifetime, there is always a scope of your occupying high positions, even constitutional positions, like Ma'am Yajnik.
Thank you.
While practicing as a lawyer, you can join the office of the Advocate General as an Assistant Advocate General, Deputy Advocate General, Additional Advocate General, and then after gaining experience, you can also be appointed as Advocate General, which are highly prestigious positions. There is no age limit for that. From there, one can even be elevated as Judge of the High Court. A woman lawyer can also be a standing counsel for various agencies like UT Chandigarh, CBI, etc. She can also be an advocate for Union of India or additional Solicitor General for Union of India. A woman lawyer can also get herself empaneled for doing cases of state governments, boards, and corporations, etc. They can also get themselves empaneled for various banks, insurance companies, and financial institutions. They can also be law officers in various boards, corporations, banks, and government offices. Nowadays, litigation has increased manifold. So almost every business house, construction companies, NHAIs, autonomous bodies like universities have their own legal cells manned by experienced lawyers who look after their entire litigation, engage pretty senior counsel, brief them, or even sometimes themselves conduct their cases in the court of law. As women lawyers, they can also work as mediators and arbitrators. Having 7 or 10 years practice at the bar at their credit, lawyers can also become qualified to be additional district and session judges, judges of the High Court, members or chairmen of the various tribunals, commissions, and forums, including Company Law Tribunal, Income Tax Tribunal, Railway Tribunal, Debt Recovery Tribunal, Human Rights Commission, CAT, SAT, Consumer Fora, etc., etc. Women lawyers are very, very less in number. So they stand a good chance of their becoming members of aforesaid tribunals, commissions, etc., and also their elevation to High Court and Supreme Court as judges. Women lawyers are successfully running law firms. Many women lawyers are partners in reputed law firms. Now we can talk about challenges that women face in legal profession. The most prominent one is that there is a general perception that the litigating public prefers male lawyers as they do not feel safe in the hands of female lawyers. However, now the tables have turned and we do come across several successful women lawyers too. I believe it is only fair to consider yourself as a lawyer and not pigeonhole yourself as a woman lawyer, as your work speaks for itself, as ma'am has already said. The way you conduct yourself in the profession also makes a lot of difference. The next challenge, that is long working hours, fulfilling family demands, and child rearing, seems a difficult feat to achieve. Time management seems to be the best bet to counter this challenge. Furthermore, the establishment of e-courts would address this problem in the future. Work from home and arguments online would be a boon to female lawyers who have become new mothers. Other challenges for women are procurement of work, work stress, and fear of making a mistake and consequently losing a case. In procurement of cases, the key is networking, which is a matter of separate debate as networking is an art. You have to be bold. Once you prepare your case well and argued, then you should learn not to bother for the result. It is all about making the first move and believing in yourself. Like Abraham Lincoln said, be sure, put your feet in the right place, then stand firm. Last and most important challenge is the safety of women in the workplaces. In this respect, a spate of women-centric laws have been put in place in the last few decades, and those have certainly helped the society in accepting the gradual increase in the women workforce in this profession. Amendments in the year 2017 in the Maternity Benefit Act 1961 allows for 26 weeks of mandatory paid leave. Section 11A of the Maternity Benefit Act makes it mandatory to set up crèche facilities in establishments with 50 or more employees. Our apex court has very well set an example by setting up a crèche facility for its women employees as well as for women lawyers. Our own High Court has also put a crèche facility in place accordingly. These laws, however, seem more appropriate, especially in case of women lawyers working in law firms or corporate sectors, and lesser for the ones into litigation. And then the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention and Redressal Act 2013 is also in place. The Companies Act of India states that every publicly listed company has to appoint at least one woman director on its board. To sum it all up, I believe that Indian women lawyers have more opportunities than ever before. The scope in the profession is similar for men and women alike. I have a small advice for all my female colleagues listening to this webinar, and that is that we women should be strong and remain calm in all situations. We need to manage time and work smart, prioritize prioritize tasks, delegate effectively, and take guidance from whatever support is available. Avoid guilt and practice gratitude. Thank you to you all for giving me a patient hearing.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a really great opportunity to hear your thoughts. Moving forward, I request our next distinguished panelist, Advocate Rita Kohli ma'am, to refine our knowledge with her kind words. We are glad that you joined us today, ma'am. Please, ma'am.
There is still some technical glitch. Garima, kindly coordinate with Kiran ma'am for
Okay.
her session. And then.
Okay. Now I request Kiran Bhardwaj ma'am to honor us with her visionary words. We are pleased to have you, ma'am. Ma'am, kindly unmute yourself.
Rita Kohli ma'am has also joined. So Kiran ma'am, let's have Rita Kohli's ma'am lecture first, then we'll have yours.
Yes.
I'm really sorry. Garima, kindly coordinate with Rita Kohli ma'am first. She are the esteemed guest.
Now I request our esteemed next guest panelist to refine our knowledge with her visionary words. I welcome Advocate Rita Kohli ma'am. We are pleased to have you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. First of all, wish each one of you a very good evening. And at the outset, I must apologize for the technical glitches. I have no power. I've joined through iPhone. So if you have any difficulty, please bear with me. I'll try to do whatever best I can. So thank you, Rayat and Bahara, the Institute of Eminence and Excellence, and the organizers for having granted me the opportunity to share my thoughts on a very important topic today. You see, don't forget that I am a practicing lawyer. So the time given to me is 8 minutes, but we lawyers have the tendency of going on and on and on. So if I continue going on and on, each one of you will have that, you will have to actually tell me to stop, because we don't stop till the time the judges tell us to stop our arguments. So you'll have to bear with me. So
for the judge today we have Raj Rahul Garg ma'am
yeah,
to do the
absolutely. That's
moderating.
what I'm saying. So you'll have to tell me to stop it whenever you want me to, because we can really go rattling one after the other,
Yes,
anecdote.
definitely.
So starting on the topic of the day, firstly, I'll just like to share my own personal experiences. I joined law after post-graduation in, as ma'am, I was hearing the first speaker, Madam Rajya Sabha MP, who said that science, if you have a background of science, it's always beneficial. So I'd say yes. I joined law as a national hobby. I thought I'll go into civil services, and that's how I joined law. But as luck would have it, as you go through the subject, I fell in love with it. Just to cut the long story short, I'll come to my first day in the High Court. Now, you can well imagine you're all dressed up for the show. You want to project yourself as the best possible person to, put in your best. And I had joined a very, eminent lawyer's chamber, who was the Advocate General at that point of time. All dressed for the show, I land up in court, and in the morning itself, are very annoyed. The most senior clerk of the office has a look at me from up, top to bottom, and he says, "Why can't they keep proper lawyers in the office? Why these girls? They can't really perform and manage offices." So that was my first brush. Gender discrimination. That's a different story, that over the years, when I kept practicing, and the same senior advocate would turn, senior clerk would turn to me for every small, sharing of thoughts or the details or all cases. 20 years down the line, I was Additional Advocate General Punjab, a very important case I was to handle, which was politically very sensitive. I'm in court already knowing that, I'm going to be absolutely under scanner. One of my male colleague walks up to me just to ask me that who is representing the state of Punjab in this particular case. I said that I am. And imagine that lawyer's instant response. He says, "Sarkar nu hor koi nahi labhiya represent karan nu." That was his instant reaction. I would not even say that he took a minute. He wanted to demean me. Not at all. It was his, instant reaction. I felt very, very bad. Imagine you are on your virtually your legs going to represent the state, and this is the kind of, what you hear. But anyway, I still carried on. That's a different story. That again, 10 years down the line, a year later, the same male colleagues, one of a senior friend who was a senior IPS officer, got into trouble, and the same colleague of mine walks up to me and asks me to represent the IPS officer case. So what I'm trying to say is, and another thing which I'd like to share with all humility at my command, that this High Court, right from the time of Lahore High Court, never ever has the High Court suo moto designated any women as a senior advocate. I, along with, of course, two more colleagues of mine, for the first time in 2014, were designated as senior advocate. And let me mention that I'm a first generation lawyer with nobody in my, family or extended family who's connected with this profession. So what I'm trying to suggest is, with your sincerity, integrity, hard work, sky is the limit. The times have changed. What we had faced right initially, where the comments were all quoted gender discrimination, today we've moved from that gender discrimination. We are even talking about gender neutrality. Even rape, we are talking in terms of neutrality. So let's accept the fact that things are changing, times have changed, and have changed for better. But at the same time, I would agree with the speakers who've spoken before me, the challenges they have projected. Yes, all these challenges are there. Hard work, yes, it is a 24/7 profession. But which profession is not? If you really have to prove your worth in any profession, mind it, it's a male, man's world, and it's a male-dominated profession. So yes, it's been rightly said that you have to work doubly hard to prove yourself. But trust me, once you prove your worth, then nobody looks at your gender. Then you surpass those limits of genders and you become a professional. So to reach that level, now if I talk about only the education part, scope of women in legal education. Now, education is getting educated and imparting education. Once we are getting educated on legal education, it's knowing your rights, your duties, your responsibilities. Remember, they say, you teach a man, you teach a person. You teach a woman, you teach a family. If a woman, a girl, a lady gets to know her rights, responsibilities, and duties, she is bound to spread it to her family, to her society, to the society at large, I would say. And of course, that is what is going to lead to a better society. If we take them as educators, women as educators, do you think the legal education is going to be any different if it's a male is teaching or a female is teaching? I would say yes. She would add some kind of value addition, socio-cultural aspects. Now, law is all about, it's not only about social control, it's about social change as well. Today, we have laws on various aspects, be it environmental, be it public interest, be it, sexual harassments, the domestic violence. There are, that time has gone when it was only limited to murder or IPC convictions where it was accused as a man. So the lawyer representing has to be a man. Today, the challenges are different. As ma'am mentioned before me, that corporate world is a complete open arena where they're not going to really look at your gender to, involve you or allow you to perform best. So I would say that today the platform is much larger, the arena is much bigger, the scope is much more. As a student or as an educator, both roles are very, very different. We produce a better society if we make, responsible. I would say that women educator, legal educator, would produce kind of a different kind of lawyers. They'll be more responsible. They'll be a boom for society, which will work for, they will work for the welfare and benefits of society at large. They'll be more sensitive. Today, we also have ADR mechanism where it's alternative dispute resolution, where's a huge scope of mediators. Women have inherent ability. They are best listeners. They listen, they communicate better, and they perform better. Let's not forget that in this pandemic time, the world is talking about all countries where women are the heads have managed even the pandemic much better. Be it Germany, New Zealand, Ireland, Iceland, Finland, Norway, whatever country you talk of, women manage things much better. So I would only say that yes, a lawyer who's just read the law or the subject or acquiring knowledge and skill to practice law, study
Ma'am, you have to, Rita ma'am, you have to unmute yourself down in the menu. Options, ma'am.
Unmute.
Yes.
Is that okay now?
Yes, ma'am. You are clear, loud and clear.
Okay. Oh, my fault. So at the end, I would only like to say that, we think that in India, we normally look at the Western world as the saviors and do-gooders of everything. And we feel that in India, women are suffering or we have suffered. Don't forget that everywhere, the women in the profession had to really fight hard to make their space. Education for women initially was never very lucrative, but because they were never allowed to practice. In US also, I'd like to just read 2 lines. When the first women lawyer, Bradwell, wanted to practice law and she was denied the permission to practice, she went up to US Supreme Court, and the argument she had to face was, quote, "The paramount mission and destiny of women is to fulfill the benign office of wife and mother. This is the law of creator." This I'm talking about US. UK was also no different. Till in 1919, they had that sex abolition of this act, 1919, where they first time allowed women to practice. Now, if we come to India, 1921 was the time when first women lawyer, Ms. Saurabji, was granted permission by Allahabad High Court to join. So now, where are we different? In fact, in certain ways, we have moved much ahead of the other nations which are so-called developed nations. In India since 1923, often we used to think, as a mediator, when I read it, it was always said that Mahatma Gandhi was the best mediator. Now, I used to wonder that if Mahatma Gandhi was the best mediator, where were all the best women who have this inherent ability to mediate, to resolve disputes by, across the table? Now, later on, we realized that women were nowhere on the scene. They were not even allowed to practice. So if they are not even allowed to practice, how many people will actually come up to take education on legal field if you are not even allowed to do it? So gradually, of course, I think today I would say the scenario is very, very different. Today, it's the women who are changing the face of the judicial institute. When we joined the profession, it was still felt that, you are donning a black coat means you are not really a very good person. But today it's become a matter of pride. Donning a black coat, you go out anywhere and people, the kind of respect you command and the way people look at you means that you are a woman of substance, you mean business, and whatever you would talk would be much more sense and you are taken seriously. At the end, I'd like to leave you all with some food for thought. My questions are whether women are changing the legal education or legal education is changing the women. I would really like each one of you to ponder over this. The other is, will the status of legal profession rise with changes being brought by women educators? A profession that truly helps through warmer, less aggressive, and more honest practice. Each one of you may have a different answer, but trust me, the judicial institution is changing, the face of the profession is changing, the demands are changing. But the best part about this profession is, being a woman, you are a master of your own field. You want to work 24/7, it's up to you. You want to take up less work, do only public interest related issues. You want to assist the Honorable Court on all development issues, social reform issues as a MICUS, you have the option. You work as much as you want. You can manage your time. I, being coming from the profession with 26 years of standing, I can say, I feel this is the best profession meant for women because you become absolutely the master of your own life and you have full knowledge you are fully aware of, and you are taken much more seriously than women in any other profession. With these words, I'll say thank you to each one of you, and my apologies for all the glitches at my end.
No
Thank you very
problem.
much. I hope I haven't exceeded my time limit.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your profound knowledge and experience with us. Now, I request our next worthy guest, Advocate Kiran Bhardwaj, ma'am, to honor us with her visionary words. We are pleased to have you, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me over here. And my views about the present topic is about from the view of litigator perspective. And I will speak from my experience as a litigator. I was enrolled in 1992 as an advocate on Law Day. So that was one of the best award I got on a Law Day. So I didn't come from a lawyer's family. So I didn't have a cakewalk like this. So I slot my way through and built my practice. I never saw myself as a woman lawyer. Rather, I saw as a lawyer. Being a woman in India itself is a task, as at one point almost every female has to choose between her career and her motherhood or family due to time constraint, and there is gap during maternity leave when time comes. So no doubt the legal field has seen an extraordinary growth of women lawyers. Unsurprisingly, there are still remains the gender bias, and female lawyers have to work more hard and fight their way out and struggle to prove that they are good lawyers too, and also to reach some level with male colleagues. The women still are at not at equal par with given opportunities as men. But you have to focus on your work and let work speak about you. I recount now, I would initially not get a lot of work as people did not think a woman lawyer would be capable of handling it. Women are judged and compared with male colleagues, and even less fees are given. It doesn't matter. You should have good appearances. The number of appearances will make you better. And you keep on working hard, and the punctuality, sincerity should always be there with you. You keep on writing, working, and be honest to what you are doing. No doubt, slowly our society is changing, and women are making their position, and they are also rising. I must tell you my experience also. Even if you are a good lawyer, you have a good amount of work. The colleagues will try to grab your work or remove you from the panel because of the competition in the field of law. This I've seen and experienced myself. And uh, uh, one case I still remember. I was doing the government case, being in the government panel. I won that case, but from the opposite, some male counterpart was there, and he felt so bad that I so you can experience you have taken my matter because that was his private brief. Mine was a government brief. So there is a difference. And though the number of women in the profession have grown steadily, but their proportion is still very less. Many women are dropping profession because of non-encouragement from the family or the work pressure and time constraint and environment being so inhospitable at workplaces. Women have much potential as men to contribute to the overall social and economic development of a country, but they had to wage a relentless war for the emancipation from the age-old bounds. As rightly said, Miss Corinna Sorabji was the first woman to be enrolled as an advocate in India. Thereafter, the Legal Practitioner Women Act of 1923 was passed. The first female judge was Fatima Bibi, appointed in the year 1989 in the Honorable Supreme Court. Presently, there are 3 sitting judges, female judges, out of 34 judges, including Chief Justice. In 1977, Justice Leela Seth was designated as a senior advocate by the Supreme Court. And she was the first lady judge of Delhi High Court too. Then Justice Indu Malhotra in 2007 became a senior, and she has also been elevated in the Honorable Supreme Court. In 2000, from 2013 to 2019, 10 lady lawyers have become senior advocate in Supreme Court. Another aspect is when the government come to power, various political posts are there, like advocate general, solicitor general, additional solicitor general. It is very difficult to get hold of this post from the lobby. It was only in 2009 that a woman has become ASG. And in the present day, there are only 2 lady ASGs in the Honorable Supreme Court, and recently appointed is Mrs. Aishwarya Bhatti, and Madhvi Diwan, she has been reappointed. Even many of the corporate fields don't prefer women lawyer, as they feel that maternity leave and benefits are waste of their resources. In today's time, the controversy of profession have changed to you must have networking to get profession running. You have to meet people to get work. Even when you have panel, you have to meet the officers, you have to sit and do work, you have to go to a conferences, whatever time the conferences are there, you have to be ready with your brief, you have to be so punctual, because the judges are not waiting for you, rather you have to wait for the judges to come and start your turn, the matters items. The very important aspect in the woman should feel safe and dignified at the place of work. After the Vishakha judgment, guidelines were framed for women's safety. There is Supreme Court Gender Sensitization Internal Complaint Committee to work out the modalities for the effective implementation of the gender sensitization and sexual harassment of women at a Supreme Court of India, that is with the Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Regulations 2013, and to take decision on related issues. A woman should, one point is also there, a woman should also support another woman instead of becoming jealous of her work. Similarly, men, advocate, judges should also promote women. The young lady lawyers should be given healthy atmosphere, encouraged to join the profession by giving them crutch benefits for the children, other facilities also, and a separate bar rooms in all courts. Further, in my view, collegium should look for more and more appointments of lady judges. Those who are competent enough, the government should take concrete plan for promotion of women lawyers and to take lady lawyers in top position, whether it is for the appointment of law or law officers, judges, or in politics, which is a major issue to be focused upon. There is a need to bring qualitative improvement in the participation of a women profession, legal profession. We must ensure that the qualified individuals, be they women or men, should be appointed as judges. Gender balance is also important for public confidence in the judiciary. Some strict laws or reservation should be made to help to making the profession more conducive to women. I think this is a very good profession. Lot of knowledge we can gather from reading various acts, books, laws. So we can help society at large, because we are the officer of the court of law. We are the officers in the court and outside the court also. We as a lady lawyers, the world is looking at us. We should change the law and come and step in the legal profession, as more and more lady women lawyers have come. My only request is that whenever you join profession or you come in a profession, you should be dressed up properly. I find in lot of courts, the lady lawyers are not dressed up properly. That is the only thing, because men have an eye and then they comment. That should not be you should not be the figure to be talk like this. You, with your work should speak, not your dress. That is all. And you are most welcome to join profession, all lady lawyers. And this is field for you. Please come. We all are there to help you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your enriching words and your precious time. I thank all the dignitaries. And now I would like to call Pratibha, our organizing head, to propose a vote of thanks.
Good evening, our guest of honor, Dr. Emmy Yagnik ma'am, our esteemed panel, and all the attendees joining us from different colleges. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on the wonderful fulfillment of day 1 of 2-day dialogue session. I, Pratibha Nanda, on behalf of entire Rayat College of Law and all the volunteers, extend a hearty vote of thanks to all our dignitaries who blessed us with their presence and took out valuable time of their busy schedule. I also wish a gratitude towards our worthy principal, Dr. Monica Sharma ma'am, who allowed us with a platform and gave us an opportunity to organize such session. Thank you, ma'am. I must not forget to mention a heartiest thanks to our guest of honor, Dr. Emmy Yagnik ma'am, Honorable Justice Raj Rahul Garg ma'am, Senior Advocate Rita Kohli ma'am and Advocate Kiran Bhardwaj ma'am for accepting our invitation and blessing this session with their presence and enlightening words. Your thoughts have shown us a new path and made us believe on a quote that behind every successful woman is a group of other successful women who have her back. I would also like to thank our knowledge partners, the Locket, Lex Keep, and Kanuni Sahara, as no program can become successful by a single person. So, very special thanks to all our participants for being such a patient listeners. A big thanks to our organizer head Saksham and our organizing member Garima for their constant support and help, without whom this event would not have happened. I also thank Samriddhi Chabra, a student of ULS Punjab University Chandigarh, for helping us in creation of poster and certificates for this event. Thank you everyone for making this event a successful one. I request all the participants to stay patient about the e-certificates, as the e-certificates will be provided you after the completion of 2-day dialogue session. We will be sending you a feedback form link in respective WhatsApp groups, and after filling the form, certificate will be generated within a day or two. Now, I seek permission from a guest of honor, our esteemed panel, and a worthy principal ma'am to officially close day one. Can we, ma'am? Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you,
I,
Dr. Amy.
Nanda, now officially close day one of 2-day dialogue session.
Everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Amy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone,
ma'am.
for listening to us. Thank you.